Hey, this is Chris Jensen with SEO Decoders. I'm going to go through in a really informal way how we use technology and data science to generate predictable sources of organic traffic. And this is when other services or investments you've made into SEO have not worked, even when you've followed best practices and you haven't seen success, or you've put off SEO year in and year out because at the back of your mind you feel like it's a gamble. We're going to show you why that is the case, why it historically has been a gamble, and how we're addressing that. So before I dive into that, I want to kind of pull the curtain back on traditional SEO and show you what's happening behind the scenes. And to kind of give an analogy that we find to be quite accurate is traditional SEO is today is competitive enough that it's kind of like playing with Vegas odds. And surprisingly, it's actually pretty accurate to the odds of rolling a particular set of numbers with dice. And we know that sevens are the most common, 16.67% chance of rolling a 7 versus 2.78 for snake eyes or rolling a 12. And when you choose an SEO provider or agency to work with, these are not too far off of the odds that you might encounter. Unfortunately, there are far more websites that fail to succeed at SEO than there are those that do succeed today. It's a very crowded space. The web is very crowded. Everybody's vying for those top search result positions. And so what ends up happening and why these results are so low is because the traditional SEO world is operating based on generalized ideas or general best practices, kind of fuzzy best practices. Certainly better to follow those than not doing anything at all. But what ends up happening is it creates a very inconsistent experience. Some clients are successful, maybe 1 in 5, maybe 1 in 10, maybe 1 in 20, and then replicating and doing that same thing for all of the other clients, they will not see success. And the reason for that is not a knock on the SEO industry or SEO professionals. There are great professionals out there that are working hard and doing the best for their clients. This is more a function of Google and their algorithms and not really being forthcoming with what the pattern of success really looks like. They give general ideas, but they don't open up their algorithms, nor do we expect that they would. And they change those algorithms constantly. So they're constantly changing or tweaking the rules of the game. And that creates a lot of uncertainty. And so the best that the traditional SEO world has been able to do to date is come up with general practices. If you generally do these things, you're optimizing your site for the search results. The problem is if you've got competitors who are in those top positions and have that history and credibility already in place with Google, even if you replicate most of what they're doing or all of what they're doing, what incentive does Google have to remove them if they're at least equal and have been in that place and have that history? So that's what you're kind of up against. And so we do address that, but there are some exceptions where traditional SEO can have a lot of success, and those are situations where you're in a market that is not super mature, where you can come in and kind of stake your claim, stake those keywords, and win those positions. And as the market grows and more customers come into it, search, you earn that traffic and own those keywords. Another way that can happen is where there's limited keyword history. Even in established industries, new terms pop up, or in some cases, really creative, influential companies will rebrand an industry keyword with their own term. They own that, and if they can get the market to shift in that direction, then they'll get that associated traffic. Pretty big gamble, difficult to do that, but that does happen. And then you've got just low competition areas, which could be like a local business, for example, local dental practice that's opening up in a new neighborhood, new development. And as that community grows, they've identified the keywords that residents are using in that area to search for dental services. They can own those. And so there's not a lot of competition coming in. So those are the exceptions. If these don't represent your industry and your website and business, then you're in a competitive space and things are going to need to happen a little bit differently for you to succeed. And so the best way to kind of explain this is to go through what traditional agencies are doing. And I won't bore you with the basics. You may be very familiar with technical on-page, off-page, but it's worth mentioning what's actually happening so that you kind of understand. So as far as our toolbox of tools that we use across the SEO industry, they all fall into these three buckets. And we're all operating on those. And our technology doesn't operate outside of technical on-page and off-page. We just do it a little bit differently and have a more precise formula. And we know with precision what Google wants. So when we talk with folks who hire traditional professionals or agencies, kind of the progression they'll go through is first they'll look at the site. Technically, is it easy to be crawled and indexed by Google? Do the pages load fast? Are links, interlinks all working within the site? So forth, and they'll look at that. And if there are issues, they'll suggest changing them. Sometimes there's an over focus on technical SEO. They'll look at minor things and say you need to fix these technical minor things. And this will help you start gaining that traction with Google. What we've found is in most cases, most websites are set up and technical enough and sound enough and clean enough that any changes they make are going to have no noticeable improvements with Google. Less than 5% of the time are there major issues that need to be corrected. So it doesn't matter how much you fine tune and tweak, it's not going to move the needle and is not worth the effort to make any adjustments. On page gets a little more murky. So where technical is very easy, there's science behind making sites technically sound. On page, this starts getting into Google's algorithms that they protect very closely. And so what ends up happening is there are these general best practices that people follow, but everybody's giving it kind of their best guess. What is the exact content and combination of content and how a page is set up that Google's going to want to see to help them climb the search results and earn one of those top positions. And what ends up happening invariably is those websites that are already in the top positions are doing these same things that your website, that you're doing for your website. They're generating good content. They're tweaking their content. They're continually finding small ways to optimize their pages and their content. And so while they're doing that and you're doing it, what incentive does Google have to reprioritize your website over those competitors who have more history? They've been there longer. They've been focusing on those keywords longer. And so it makes it really difficult, no matter how much good content you're creating and how you're setting up your pages based on those general principles, makes it very difficult in a competitive landscape to climb the search results. So what we've done, and I'll get into this in a little more detail, is our platform has identified 148 search factors or search criteria that Google uses to determine how they're going to rank and rate your website or one of your pages. And we're able to then create a pattern of how Google is using those criteria for a given industry. And this is a little known secret that Google's algorithms operate differently from one industry to another. They don't have set principles that they're following. So that creates even more confusion why an SEO agency will implement a strategy for one client in one industry and have amazing success. And then the next client or next 5 clients, they'll do the same thing and not have success. It's in large part because of that. So what the problem that the standard or traditional industry is facing is they're aware of many of those 148 search criteria. They're not accounting for all of them. And they're all operating on the same rules. And so they're optimizing to the best of their knowledge. But again, unless they already have that history in one of those top positions, it makes it difficult to win on content or on page alone. Third area is off page. This is one of the most ignored or most poorly managed parts of SEO. And that's dealing primarily with backlinks, who's linking back to your website. And then also, if you're a local business, your reviews that you're gaining. So if you're a local business, focus on get those reviews. And then also backlinking is important. So the way that backlinking is done with traditional SEO is there's really two principles or two ways that that's accomplished. One is buying backlinks. So you can hire a company, they'll go out and buy a pack of 5 backlinks or 10 or 20 backlinks. Or you can do guest posting, where you create an article, you pay a website, they add the article to that site, they put a link back to your website, and your hope is that you'll earn credibility with Google through that. It's important to understand that these 3 pillars of SEO have equal importance to Google. And in some cases, Google will actually rest more of its weight, like a 3-legged stool, will rest more of its weight on one of these legs versus another. And over the years, they've increasingly put more of their weight on off-page, or in other words, the quality of your link network, because it's become a clearer way for them to differentiate the authoritativeness of one website and that information over another. There's no shortage of good content out there. There's always a battle for who has better content. And so Google can look at your website and say, okay, who is linking back to this site? What are the quality scores, the authority scores, and trust of those websites? And they will absolutely give your website priority if your link network has many more high quality backlinks than a competitor, even if they've got good content, even if they've been in one of those top positions. So our recommendation is never pay for backlinks. Google has been very vocal that they do not approve of that they will devalue your traffic and your website. And in some cases, they'll even penalize your site for buying backlinks. And both of those strategies, buying a pack of backlinks or doing guest posting, are both types of buying backlinks. Specifically, buying a pack of backlinks, usually those are going to go to really spammy sites, directories, sites in foreign languages, sites that don't even operate or work properly, that are very spammy in nature. That's where you're sometimes going to see some penalties. And the other thing to keep in mind with your off-page strategy is no amount of volume of bad backlinks is going to correct that. And sometimes we've seen SEO professionals tell their clients, well, we just need more. We need to increase the volume of backlinks. And unfortunately, that does not move the needle. It can actually just cause more problems. You need a good collection of high quality backlinks in order to find that success and kind of complete the trifecta of those three areas of SEO. So one final note I will say about off-page specifically is it is pretty common to see companies overinvest in technical and on-page SEO and get both of those in pretty good shape. And they've just allowed off-page to suffer. They've either cut corners and hired companies to buy bad backlinks, or they've gone out and acquired poor backlinks. And the good news is this is a systemic problem across SEO. Most websites, even those that are in good top positions, have pretty low quality link networks. And so they have the same problem. They're facing the same problem you are, and they're not good solutions to acquiring high quality backlinks. So sometimes that's the last kind of missing piece, that if we can help a client address that, and we have a solution specifically for that, which I'll explain, it'll kind of lock into place and give them that push that they need to start climbing the search results. So that part is fun for us because it's a part that is, again, so often misunderstood and again, not really good answers out there as to how to improve the quality of the link network. So with that in mind, I'm going to move on now to talk a little bit more about our technology. So we have 20 years of experience. My partner and the creator of our technology, Scott Paxton, started in SEO about 20 years ago. At the time, he owned a software development company, was looking for new ways to advertise and generate more business, came across SEO in the early days. It was kind of the Wild West at that point, but started dabbling in it, started having success, and realized very quickly that digital marketing was going to take hold much faster than probably most people believed, and made the decision to kind of pivot his business. Rather than designing software for other companies, he stepped back and said, we have developers, I have the system and infrastructure. I'm going to create tools that SEO companies or agencies that offer SEO services can use to deliver better results for their clients. And so that's what he did. And so for the first 10 years that happened, the company provided these tools to SEO agencies. Scott became very integrated into the SEO community, became a thought leader, an industry veteran, worked closely with other thought leaders and industry veterans, and gave him the foundation that was needed to create the kind of tools that we have today. And so this first tool, CertCode, is really exciting. We love what it does for clients. We love when we can dispel the issues and concerns and confusion that so many people have about SEO and show them that, hey, SEO doesn't have to be a guessing game, and it starts with CertCode. So essentially what CertCode does is we're able to go out and crawl our client's complete website. This is, again, all public information. So we'll go out and crawl the site just like Google is crawling websites. And in fact, our technology is built similarly in how we crawl sites to how Google does it, on the same kind of platform and basis. We'll also go out and crawl all of their competitor sites. and especially those sites that are ranking in those top positions for the keywords that are going to drive the most targeted traffic to their websites. So we'll gather all of that information in, and then essentially what we do, and by the way, this information includes the keywords they're ranking for, what position they're ranked in, their pages, their content, all of that relevant information, how the content and pages are optimized. We'll pull all of that data in for all of these websites. And essentially what we do is we create our own internal search engine. We're kind of creating a mini Google, if you will. So you'll hear us say, if you talk to us, how we've reverse engineered the search algorithms. This is how we do this, and it's done customized for each client. Again, remember, Google's algorithms operate differently from one industry to the next, or can operate differently from one industry to the next. And so we have to do this for each client. And so we'll pull all of that data in, we'll create our own mini search engine, and then we'll run that algorithm, our own algorithms, and that will give us precise patterns and blueprints. This is essentially leveraging the signals Google has given us through all of this data we've pulled in to then turn around and tell us, here's why this website is ranking #1 for this keyword in this industry. What that then allows us to do is optimize your website, the content, the pages, if it's the link network, if it's technical, if it's whatever it is, we'll, out of those 148 search criteria, we'll be able to build a custom blueprint of how we're going to help you climb the search results and eventually earn one of those top 3, if not the #1 position. And so again, backed by data science, very precise. We are not operating on generalized ideas that the industry has followed. This is based on the complete picture. And so it's exciting for us to run that and create that and start working on those updates. So that's a very important part. Also, SERP code is designed to continue to monitor Google's algorithms. So we're able to identify changes when Google makes those. Some of those are announced that they made a change. Again, they don't go into specifics or details. Other times they'll make changes that will have a little bit of an impact, but still nonetheless important. So our platform is constantly monitoring for changes to Google's algorithms, and it's pivoting and adjusting and changing the criteria. So if Google adds a new search criteria that we can identify, we'll have 149 search criteria. Or if they drop one off the list that we can see they're no longer prioritizing, that list can shrink or increase depending on that monitoring that's happening. So we know a lot of people in technology industries talk about AI. It's kind of a buzzword. It's not always based on AI. We can say confidently our platform is based on AI algorithms that do adapt to the changing landscape of the search algorithms. And that helps us implement a plan. It helps us tell our clients, okay, here's what we need to do with your content. It also helps us create a more comprehensive keyword list. So if there are keywords that you are not focusing on, but we identify those as having high commercial intent, meaning the people that are searching are much more ready to make a buying decision than other keywords, and you haven't been ranking for those, we're going to pull those in and help you generate the content that's needed to start ranking and climbing the search results. We will be able to help you optimize your pages and content to a much higher degree and to the specificity that Google is looking for, that again, it doesn't advertise compared to your competition. So when you talk about being in an equal situation and you've got these players that have been in these top positions for longer, this is one way you can edge them out and start climbing and passing some of your competitors up. So exciting technology. This isn't something we license to people. We are technically an agency. Our platform is complicated enough that we use our technology internally to deliver our service for our clients. But we'll certainly talk you through it. We'll walk you through what's happening. We'll show you and make sure you're very informed along the way. So the second piece of our technology is what we call SmartLink. And SmartLink is how we address low quality backlinking strategies. And we do that by acquiring what we call link assets as opposed to traditional spammy backlinks. And the way that we do this is not by going out and buying backlinks. We don't pay for guest posting. What we've done is created a private network of websites that we own that all have good scores, quality, and credibility with Google. We've also built a network that gives us priority to acquire websites that are being decommissioned or retired or being auctioned. And what we're able to do is, out of a library of 19 million websites that we've cataloged to date, and tens of thousands of new websites we're cataloging every day, we're able to identify those gems that, again, have clean and high credibility with Google and are in the domain of our clients. That's another element that's extremely important that's often missed, is sometimes people will acquire backlinks with websites that have high authority scores, good quality authority scores, which is good. You should still, you'll benefit from those, but you won't get the most leverage out of them if they're not in your industry, because Google does look at that and say, okay, who are they backlinked to? What do the quality scores look like, and is it relevant to the domain or industry of that website? And so we're able to find websites that are either, again, that have both good quality scores and trust with Google and are in the domain of your website and your business. We acquire those, or we own them already. We're able to then deploy those. So we host those on our own servers. We own them. We're able to set up the backlinks and the content around those backlinks exactly to the pattern that SERP code has told us. Again, our algorithms have told us based on Google signals. And so we control that. So unlike traditional backlinking, where someone will include a backlink, you have no control to ask them or tell them to change it or to update it or to optimize it this way, we're able to do all of that. So if there are ever changes that Google makes to their algorithms and how they're ranking backlinks, we're able to go in and make those changes and monitor for that and control that. So very unique. To our knowledge, there is no one else in the industry that does backlinking this way. And we've been able to develop a system that works extremely well. So this answers that piece of low quality link networks, low quality spammy backlinks. With working with our service and our company, you should never have to pay or settle for low quality backlinks, or avoid getting backlinks altogether because you don't know how to do it the right way. This is always a major focus for us because it's such an area of lack in the industry that this can give you a very significant boost in Google's eyes. And so SmartLink is a great solution to be able to do that. So that's kind of an overview. Happy to go into that in more detail and talk a little bit about Google's scoring system, their EAT acronym: experience, expertise, authority, and trust, and kind of how that plays in, and go a little bit deeper into our technology and how we're changing kind of the rules of the game. This kind of technology and this approach has been needed for many years, and unfortunately, many people are not aware that it exists. We've operated pretty quietly behind the scenes, worked with hundreds of companies, helped them have a good deal of success, and now we're just getting to a point where we've decided, hey, we want to be a little more visible, a little more vocal out there, and try to help more companies. And so excited to answer any questions that you have, excited to potentially walk through examples of clients that we've worked with and what we discovered using our technology and our service and platform, and what actions we took and how that helped them. And that includes small local businesses, local service businesses, as well as large multinational websites that deal with tens of millions of visitors a month, where we've been able to help them get their traffic to that next level. So I appreciate your time listening and kind of learning about SEO and what works and what doesn't work. Please reach out to me with any questions, and look forward to sharing more with you in the future.